People in Zimbabwe have been denied access to the internet by order of their own government. The country's biggest mobile operator says it received a government order to pull the plug. You can see one of the reasons they're blaming violence, deadly days of protests, which were a response to authorities sharply raising fuel prices. The United Nations has called for an end to the security crackdown ordered by the president. Tonight, we're told that the internet has mostly been restored, but some social media sites are still down. Berhante is the campaigner with the group Access Now, and she joins me from Paris. The reasons, I mean, it's not at all clear why this was done, other than there has been days of violence over the fuel price increase.
Yes, so why they've done this is pretty clear. They want to control information. They want to make sure that people don't have access to information, and they also want to control the way that people express themselves. So it's been quite a tragedy in Zimbabwe this week, where the internet was turned off yesterday again at around 10 p.m. and was released back at around 3 p.m. today. Most people don't have access to social media. So SMS is still blocked. So it's pretty clear what the government is trying to do. They want to control the protest. They don't want people to go out on the streets and protest. They don't want people demanding their rights. That's precisely the reason why they're doing this.
And if I'm just trying to be charitable here and be a devil's advocate, if the government was to say, well, we had learned that the internet was being used by those who wanted to get together for violent protests, and this was a way of stopping them congregating to create for mayhem and destruction, what would you say?
So our response for that is to really see what the police and the law enforcement agencies have done in Zimbabwe, in Harare, and in many other cities, is that they've been shooting live ammunitions at protesters. They've been, going around when the internet was closed down. They've been going around from homes to homes, pulling people out, beating them out, like in the public. There's no one to show the world what is actually currently happening in Zimbabwe. So that's the reason why the internet has been shut down. Of course, some of the protest was violent, but starting from Wednesday, much of the protest has been quite peaceful. And, it's the government that's using extreme force. Many people have been injured, many more have been injured, and some people have died as well. So, yeah.
Although, thinking about it and just looking at where you are at the moment, with the Yellow Jackets protests, which have been violent and there have been deaths, I don't remember President Macron switching off the internet. Not that he'd have been able to or could have done, maybe, but he didn't certainly try the best we knew.
Yeah.
So
yes, so in countries where you have... Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Pull the strands together. The state of Zimbabwe, after Mugabe, and with the current president, Mnangagwa, came in, even though he was number 2 in the previous, he said it would be different, and his priority, he told me, his priority was to bring in inward investment. Forget the internet story for the second. Do you see any evidence that he has changed the story in Zimbabwe?
Given what's been happening in the past 5 days, no. That's nothing has changed. Protesters, activists have been arrested. They haven't been able to see lawyers. Families don't know where their loved ones are. So he's definitely using the same tactics that Mugabe's government was using. He was part of Mugabe's government before as well. So not much has changed. It's just it's a different man practicing the same barbaric ways that his former president used to.